सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। रामो राजमणिः सदा विजयते रामं रमेशं भजे। रामेणाभिहता निशाचरचमु रामाय तस्मै नमः। रामान्नास्ति परायणं परतरं रामस्य दासोऽस्म्यहम्। रामे चित्तलयः सदा भवतु मे भो राम मामुद्धर। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। 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 Second Mundaka, second Khanda, third and fourth mantra. धनुर्गृहीत्वौपनिषदं महास्त्रम् धनुर्गृहीत्वौपनिषदं महास्त्रम् शरं ह्युपासा निशितं सन्धयीत शरं ह्युपासा निशितं सन्धयीत आयम्य तद्भावगतेन चेतसा लक्ष्यं तदेवाक्षरं सौम्य विद्धि प्रणवो धनुष्यरो ह्यात्मा ब्रह्म तल्लक्ष्यमुच्यते अप्रमत्तेन वेद्धव्यम् शरवत्तन्मयो भवेत्। The main teaching of this Upanishad is already concluded. For a student who is very, very qualified, has lot of sadhana chatushtaya, in particular vairagya, that student gains knowledge merely by shravanam. Right in the beginning, when it was said, Yattadadresham agrahyam agotram avarnam, in that mantra only he was able to shift the mind. At the most, Divyo Hyamurta Purusha. By that mantra, his job is done. But we all know that just Shravanam doesn't create that impact. Meaning, Shravanam alone doesn't create the necessary impact. That is why the next two steps are very important. Mananam and Nididhyasanam. By listening to scriptures, we get clarity about nature of truth. What is it that is stopping us from self-abidance? Either we have doubts. How is it that Brahman alone is real? How is Brahman substratum of this creation? So to resolve those doubts, I need mananam. I need to think in such a way that whatever I have heard becomes doubtless to me. That is the only prerequisite. I should make sure that my thinking strengthens my Shravanam. Having done that, there are some erroneous notions which keep lingering. By default, we think we are a jiva. It is very interesting, that condition is very, very peculiar. If somebody tells us, you are this body, this person says, no, I am not the body. Logically, he will explain how I am not the body. Body is seen, I am the seer. After this conversation is done, when he is by himself, again this notion starts, something related to jivatva. The very statement, I am experiencing this world, is sign of jivatva. The very statement, I am doing something, is sign of jivatva. As pure consciousness, neither are we experiencer nor are we doer. We are the illuminator of the thought of experience, thought of doing. To remove these erroneous notions of identification with conditioning is this technique of meditation. That is why the third step of Nididhyasanam becomes very important, especially after we have done sufficient Shravanam and sufficient Mananam, where clarity has come about the goal. But still sadhaka feels my journey is incomplete yet, because I don't see the result of knowledge in my life. So these mantras are very helpful in our spiritual journey, particularly to take it forward towards the result. Self-abidance in the form of unbroken bliss, unconditioned bliss, these mantras will be very helpful. Remember, they are not doing anything different. What was said in Shravanam is being paid attention to in Nididhyasanam. It's like listening to a song on the radio and listening to a song with noise cancelling headphones. Which one will be more precise experience, greater experience? Noise cancelling. Sometimes they say this particular music listen with headphones only. Means you can get something by listening directly, but if you exclusively pay attention, cancelling all other noise, that is called better experience. You can enjoy it better. Same is the technique of meditation. 3 steps were mentioned. The metaphor of a bow and arrow was taken. The bow symbolized pranava, omkara, and the arrow was the meditator, jiva. In the Vedanta Sara language, Bo represents Tatpada Vachyartha. And the arrow represents Twampada Vachyartha. Tatpada Vachyartha is consciousness with total conditioning. Twampada Vachyartha is consciousness with individual conditioning. Now, first job is to just take the arrow, keep it on the bow. Take the arrow, keep it on the bow. Because for a long time, arrow is somewhere, bow is somewhere else. Means what? Twampada Vachyartha first has to tune with Tatpada Vachyartha. Jiva has to first turn attention to that truth which is conditioned by total conditioning. That is the first step. Having done that, one has to pull the string. Pulling the string was withdrawing the mind from all other sense objects. That is the noise cancelling part. Other than what you want to hear, nothing else should be bothering. At least for that duration. You don't put noise cancelling earphone whole day. So at least for meditation time, we should be able to cancel outside noise in the form of thoughts. Other than Lakshya, no other thoughts. That is the Ayamya part. The bow has to be, the string of the bow has to be pulled back. Arrow should be there. Arrow should be there and then pull it back. Now the third step is wonderful. Third step is simple. Just release the arrow and the target is Lakshyartha. Tatpada Lakshyartha, Twampada Lakshyartha, which is one and the same, pure consciousness is the target. That third step is particularly referring to Mahavakya Vichara. Because what has happened now? We have taken Jiva, Twampada Vachyartha, in the form of the arrow, kept it on Pranava, Tatpada Vachyartha, in the form of the bow. Now, which is that statement which will help us unite Twampada with Tatpada? That statement is Mahavakya. So the third step, piercing the target, is through Mahavakya Vichara, arriving at that pure consciousness, which is devoid of all conditionings, particularly individual conditioning. So thinking about I minus body, minus mind, and minus individuality. That is what is the third step of releasing the arrow. Remember, this is just a metaphor. Jiva will not go anywhere. Jiva will just recognize I was pure consciousness to begin with. Even when I thought I was a meditator, even when I thought I was a samsari, at all times, I was that pure consciousness. I am that pure consciousness. In fact, the notion of time is an appearance in me. Notion of space is an appearance in me. That clarity is the third step. First step is upasana. Just take the arrow, keep it on the bow. Dhanur gruhitva aupanishadam mahastram. That aupanishadam mahastram will go with dhanu, arrow only. Because adjective for sharam is given later. So that bow, which is very well elaborated in Upanishad, in the form of pranava. You can take any Ishta mantra. All of them hint at the same truth. And what is Om representing? Om represents both Saguna and Nirguna. That consciousness which is conditioned by three states of experience: waking, dream, and deep sleep. Consciousness plus waking, dream, deep sleep, and all the objects in waking, dream, deep sleep. That is called as Om. So when we chant Om, A represents waking state, U represents dream state, Ma represents deep sleep state. But not only states, consciousness along with these three states. This point we have to keep repeating and hammer it in our head. Even when we are talking about Vachyartha or Saguna, consciousness is included. What makes it Saguna is we are seeing consciousness along with conditioning. Guna means some conditioning has come of Maya. So Vachyartha of Om is consciousness conditioned by three states of experience: waking, dream and deep sleep. So A, U, Ma represents to each state. Then the silence which follows the Om represents Turiya, Nirguna or pure consciousness, devoid of the conditioning of states. So in the first step, when we connect with Om, it is Upasana. And third step, when we are sending the arrow, it is knowledge. Because we are thinking about Mahavakya. That is the beauty of this Om. It can take us to Saguna also. It can take us to Nirguna also. Depends upon where we want to go. Both it has the ability to indicate. So that great Upanishadic Mahastram, the great bow, having taken it, Gruhitva, Sharam hi upasa nishitam, Sandhayita, place the arrow on the bow. What is the adjective of the arrow? Upasa nishitam, which is sharpened through upasana. That mind which has the ability to focus, and that mind which can think of infinite. Upasana result is only two. Primary result. Ekagrata, Vishalata. He is able to focus on his altar and understand that this altar is infinite. Conditioned consciousness. Consciousness with total conditioning. In that consciousness, he is able to put his mind. Ramcharitmanas, Goswamiji, our Bhagwan Rama tells Hanumanji, this is Ananya Bhakti. So Ananya Jake Mati, Matina Tare Hanumanta. So Ananya Jake Jati, Matina Tare Hanumanta, Main Sevaka Sacharachara, Rupa Swami Bhagavanta. He says, remembering this fact that I am Sevaka and my Swami is Sacharachara Swami, the Lord of inert and sentient. This constant remembrance is Ananya Bhakti. So that is the Upasana part where he is tuning with totality. Now you can read the Upasana part that we discussed in Vedanta Sara. Along with conditioning, Vyashti dissolving into Samashti. In simple words. Then Ayamya. Ayamya means pull from Vishayas. Tad bhavagatena chetasa. There is no physical pulling. It is more of thinking. Thinking about the goal, wanting to become one with the goal. That is the pulling part. Pulling from all other sense objects. Laksham tad eva aksharam. The goal is that akshara alone, which we have discussed in all previous mantras. Somya Viddhi. Please know it in this way. In some translations, you will find Viddhi translated as pierce in this way. If you take the meaning of pierce, it should be Vyada Dhatu. Vyada. Vyada means to pierce. And if you take Lot Lakara, it will become Vidya. Vidya. But here it is, word is Viddhi. So Viddhi is formed from Vid Dhatu. Vid means to know. So you'll find both translations. If you take it as peers, then it is Arsha Prayoga, Vidya. It should be Vidya, here it is said as Vidhi. But if you take it as Vid Dhatu, then it is Lot Lakara, Vid. Means know that your goal is Akshara. Okay, Pranavo Dhanuhu, Omkara is the bow, and Sopadika Jiva, the individual meditator, is the arrow. Sharohi Atma. Brahma Tallaksham Uchyate. Pure consciousness is the target. Apramattena Vedhavyam. Without any inadvertence, without allowing other desires to creep in, one should become one with the target. Sharavat Tanmayaha Bhavet. If somebody goes for archery, at least once his arrow should hit the target, and you should stay there. Okay. In one of our camps we had done, when we had gone to a camping site, Yuva Kendra camp, the most dangerous thing, because the person picking the arrow, even if he is standing there, he has to be very alert. If it's a first time person using it, you don't know where that arrow will go. So here the beauty is, it should become, not only hit the target, but stay there. Tanmayaha means that mind should become one with Brahman. Now this Bhashya is very beautiful. Even to study Sanskritam, this Bhashya is very helpful, because there are short sentences and simple word formations. So we'll try to read and understand. Katham vedhavyam iti uchyate dhanuhu ishvasanam gruhitva adaya aupanishadam upanishatsu bhavam prasiddham mahastram mahaccha tadastram cha mahastram dhanuhu tasmin sharam kim vishishtam iti aha upasanishitam santata abhidhyanena tanukrutam samskrutam iti etat sandhayita sandhanam kuryat sandhaya cha ayamya akrushya sendriyam antahkaranam svavishayat vinivartya lakshye eva avarjitam krutva ityarthah nahi hastena iva dhanushah ayamanam iha sambhavati tadbhavagatena tasmin brahmani akshare lakshye bhavana bhavah tadgatena chetasa lakshyam tadeva yathokta lakshanam aksharam somya vidhi. Katham vedhavyam, how should one pierce it? Because previous mantra concluded with that injunction. Tadvedhavyam somya vidhi. Tadetat satyam tadamrutam tadvedhavyam somya vidhi. How to pierce this target? Dhanuhu. Dhanuhu, another name for dhanuhi, ishvasanam. Ishu means arrow. That place where arrow is kept is called as dhanuhu, ishvasanam. Atra shura maheshvasaha. Maheshvasaha, maha ishvasaha. Those people who have great bows. First chapter, Arjuna says this. No, Duryodhana. Atra Shura Maheshwasa. Duryodhana's words, but said by Sanjaya. Adaya gruhitva means having taken it. Adaya Upanishadam. Upanishadam means that which is said in Upanishads. Upanishadam, Upanishatsu bhavam. Prasiddham, that which is very popular. Mahastram, the great arrow or the great bow. Mahachadastram, because it is great, it is called as Mahastram. Dhanuhu, the bow is called as Mahastram. Tasmin sharam, in that bow place the arrow. In that bow place the arrow. So Upanishadam Mahastram goes with Dhanuhu, that great bow which has been spoken about in Upanishad. Take that bow. Kim Vishishtam iti aha. What is the speciality of this arrow? Speciality of bow is mentioned now. What is speciality of the bow? Upanishadam Mahastram. It is greatly spoken about in Upanishad. Now what is the speciality of arrow? Upasa Nishitam. That which has been sharpened through Upasana. Nishitam means sharpened. Santata Abhidhyanena means by regularly practicing this meditation. Tanukrutam. Tanukrutam means it has been made sukshma. See, what is mind by itself is sukshma only, made up of sattvic aspect of sukshma panchamahabhutas. So mind is subtle. What is grossness and subtlety of mind? The objects that it can notice. If I can see only sthula srishti, that is sthula manas. If I can pay attention to sukshma srishti also, consciousness presiding over total subtle mind, or something which is beyond the gross universe, consciousness presiding over even sthula srishti, that mind is called as sukshma mind. Because in upasana, what is seen is the alambanam, the support. But what is meditated upon is the truth. So something which is subtler, being able to notice it. Not just gross creation. That ability is given by upasana. Another meaning of tanukrutam is ekagrata and vishalata. What is the grossness of mind? Distracted mind. Distraction is the grossness of mind. So upasana blesses that person with single pointedness. You see the beauty of Sanskritam, huh? Agre means front. Eka agre means only one thing in front. So what is ekagra manas? That mind which has only one object in front, that ability of that mind is ekagra. And vishalata means it can recognize consciousness pervading over creation. At least it can appreciate this idea. It cannot take the form of that thought, because creation also is infinite. Where will this mind go thinking about consciousness pervading over infinite creation? But that bhavana it can invoke. That this whole universe has a substratum. That is the tanukrutam part. Samskrutam iti etat. Means samskaras have been given, impressions have been created of meditation in this mind. Sandhayita. Sandhayita means sandhanam kuryat. place the arrow on the bow. That's why the first step is only this. Taking the arrow, placing it on the bow. That is the upasana. Individual mind should turn to total mind. Sandhaya cha ayamya. Having placed it, now pull the string. What is ayamya? Akrushya. Withdraw, pull back. Sendriyam antakaranam. Along with sense organs, the mind. Sendriyam antakaranam. Swa vishayat vinivartya. Where should we pull it back from? From its respective vishaya. Every sense organ will go to their particular vishaya. And the mixture of all of these vishayas will be in the mind. Just think about this. If mind goes towards some vishaya, does it think like this and go, now I am going to Rupa, now I am going to Rasa, now I am going to Shabda? It doesn't think. It will just go to that Vishaya. But every sense organ is going very disciplined. It will only go to Rupa. Eyes will only go to Rupa and so on. So here what it means is, through Pratipaksha Bhavana, by pointing out limitations of that sense object, withdraw the mind. And just like we created samskara of going outwards, we can also create samskara of turning inwards. Only thing what is demanded is regularity and practice. Svavishayad vinivartya. Having pulled it back, what should I do? Lakshe eva avarjitam. See, avarjitam means again withdraw. But here the way we should understand is, turn the mind towards the goal. Abhimukam krutya. Abhimukam means turn it towards your goal. You withdrew it from the sense objects. Now turn it towards the goal. Avarjitam. Avarjitam krutva ityartah. But this avarjanam, pulling the string, is not literally pulling the string. That's why Shankaracharya clarifies. Nahi hastena dhanushah ayamanam iha sambhavati. That's why I said this bhashya is something where you can easily do Sanskrit abhyasa also. Dhanushah ayamanam na sambhavati. The pulling back of bow is not possible here. In what way is it not possible? Hastena ayamanam. Pulling with hand, that kind of metaphor you cannot apply in the symbolic meaning. That is why the word has come, tadbhava gatena. Pulling the mind means this person wants to single-pointedly think and become one with the truth. Tadbhava gatena tasmin brahmani. In that Brahman, akshare, lakshe, bhavana. See, bhavana generally how we translate it? Emotion. But here bhavana means chintanam. Chintanam means to think about the goal and wanting to become one with it. That itself is bhavana. Bhavaha tadgatena chetasa. That mind which is drenched with this intense desire to become one with the goal. With that mind, lakshyam tareva. Understand that your goal is that Brahman alone. That same akshara whom we elaborately discussed, what we elaborately discussed in previous mantras. Yatha ukta lakshanam aksharam somya viddhi. Please know that this is your goal. Now, one thing we need to pay very close attention and get clarity upon is step number 1 and step number 3. Step 2 is easy. Pulling the mind, to understand is easy. Pulling the mind back is not easy. Because there is no ambiguity there. Pull the mind back from sense objects. Show the mind the limitations of it. Tell the mind the journey it has traveled so far and how this sense object can totally make it go astray. All of that conversation is ayamya. But first step is connecting with the truth. With Vachyartha, tuning with the truth. Third step is with Mahavakya, dropping the conditionings. Third step is not Upasana. Third step is Mahavakya Vichara. Okay, so this is one thing we have to note. Sandhayita is sharpening the mind through Upasana and becoming one with the target, Vedhavyam. That is dropping conditioning. Jivatva is dropped. How to drop it? Again, go back to Vedanta Sara. Bhagatyaga Lakshana. Different Lakshanas we had discussed. Conditionings have emerged from that consciousness. That consciousness is unchanging. Whatever emerges from unchanging cause is only an appearance. Either it is individual appearance or total appearance. Means total conditioning is total appearance. But it is an appearance. Therefore, you can cancel it. Otherwise, you'll always struggle with this point. Okay, I understood individual consciousness plus individual conditioning, consciousness plus total conditioning. And you say in Mahavakya, cancel the conditioning. If it was real, you cannot cancel it. Because it is unreal, you can cancel it. That is the third step of Mahavakya. Next mantra, Bhashya also we will see. Yaduktam dhanuradi taduchyate pranavaha omkaraha dhanuhu yatha ishvasanam lakshye sharasya praveshakaranam तथा आत्मशरस्य अक्षरे लक्ष्ये प्रवेशकारणम् ओंकारः प्रणवेन हि अभ्यस्यमानेन संस्क्रियमाणः तदालम्बने तत् आलम्बनः अप्रतिबन्धेन अक्षरे अवतिष्ठते यथा धनुषा आस्ते इषुः लक्ष्ये अतः प्रणवो धनुरिव धनुः शरः. Or let us say this much first. I hope you are marking the sandhis wherever we are pausing. And if you feel inspired, you can rearrange the words and pay closer attention to those words. Yad uktam dhanuhu adi taduchyate. What was pointed out as a metaphor, the symbolic meaning of that metaphor is being given now. Pranavaha omkaraha dhanuhu. Pranava is the bow. Now, one thing to note here is whenever we use a word, that word should lead us to what it is pointing us to. So, what is pranava pointing to? Consciousness with total conditioning or pure consciousness. Conditioning of three states, conditioning of totality. Consciousness pointed out with those conditioning is saguna, form of pranava. So when we say Om, it should remind us of that all-pervading consciousness. Now Shankaracharya explains why pranava is used as a bow. Why is the bow called pranava? He says, just like the bow becomes the reason to send the arrow to its target, pranava becomes the reason to send mind to its target. Yatha, just as Ishwasanam. What is Ishwasanam? Bow. Ishu asanam. Lakshe sharasya pravesha karanam. Just like the bow is the cause of arrow hitting the target, entering the target. Tatha, in the same way, atma sharasya. For the meditator, akshare lakshe pravesha karanam omkaraha. This om becomes the launch pad. It becomes a reason for mind to turn towards consciousness. Saguna and nirguna, both you take. Meaning this is the power of nama. Power of name of the Lord. One name is Pranava. Instead of Pranava, we can take Rama, Bhagavan Krishna. Any name you take. Means if that person has understood the name properly, then amidst several thoughts, the moment he hears this name, that understanding will present itself in front. Technically they say Nama and Nami, they go together. The moment you hear a name, if you know that object, you can't but bring that object in front. The moment you say horse, try to say that name without thinking of horse. Cow, sun. The moment you utter the name, that object will come. In the same way, when we say pranava, provided we have understood what is pranava, then that exalted emotion, exalted feeling towards pranava will come in the heart. If I don't know what is horse and cow, I might say the word. For example, in some other language, if I say horse and cow, that image will not come because I don't connect that word with that object. But once I've connected it, every time I say the word, that object will come. So just like the bow becomes a reason for arrow to be sent towards the target, pranava becomes a reason for the mind to turn towards the truth. Because of the same reason. The moment we utter the word, several objects are sifted out, and what that word is referring to is presented in front. This is the secret behind japa also. Tad japaha tadartha bhavanam. What is japaha? Repetition of the name along with the bhavana. That what I am chanting means this. So if you say Om Namah Shivaya, so what is Shiva referring to? Auspiciousness. Means everything in this universe is auspicious. To that auspiciousness, I bow down. So like that, every mantra will have its own pointer. Pranavena hi abhyasamanena. By pranava, while doing this abhyasa, that mind which is doing this practice, samskriyamanaha. Impressions are gained by this mind, samskriyamanaha, tad alambanaha apratibandhena akshare avatishthate. The mind which has been trained in this way, sharpened in this way, by tuning to Omkara, that mind can hit the target and stay there. Why? Because this mind is ekagra, it is single pointed, very well trained to abide in the truth. Yatha dhanusha aste ishuhu lakshe. Just like the bow sends the arrow to the target, and that arrow stays in the target. Ataha pranavaha dhanu iva dhanuhu. Therefore, pranava is called as the bow, dhanuhu. Now, what is the arrow? Sharaha. Sharohi atma upadilakshanaha paraha eva जले सूर्यादिवत् इह प्रविष्टः देहे सर्व बौद्ध प्रत्यय साक्षितया सह शरः इव स्वात्मनि एव अर्पितः अक्षरे ब्रह्मणि अतः ब्रह्म तल्लक्ष्यमुच्यते लक्ष्य इव मनः समाधित्सुभिः आत्मभावेन लक्ष्यमाणत्वात् तत्र एवं सति अप्रमत्तेन बाह्य विषय उपलब्धि तृष्णा प्रमादवर्जितेन सर्वतः विरक्तेन जितेन्द्रियेण एकाग्रचित्तेन वेद्धव्यं ब्रह्मलक्ष्यं ततः तद्वेधनात् ऊर्ध्वं शरवत्तन्मयो भवेत् यथा शरस्य लक्ष्य एकात्मत्वं फलं भवति तथा देहादि आत्मप्रत्यय तिरस्करणेन अक्षर एकात्मत्वं फलम् आपादयेत् इत्यर्थः. Sharo hi atma. The arrow, sharah, is the self. Now, self is not pure consciousness. We are talking about upadi lakshana. That which is indicated through upadi, along with upadi. Means sopadika atma. In other words, meditator. In other words, me. If I am sitting for meditation, I am the arrow. Bhagwan is the bow. First I have to connect with Bhagwan, pull my mind back from Vishayas and drop conditionings and become or understand my oneness with the Lord. 3 simple steps. Upadi Lakshana Parah Eva. Just like, now here Shankaracharya is explaining why Atma is called as Sharah. Previously explained why Pranava was called the bow. Now he is explaining why Atma is called as Sharah. He says, Paraha eva jale, that pure consciousness alone, just like sun gets reflected in the water. Suryadivat iva pravishtaha means sun enters the water through reflection. Just like the sun enters water through reflection, this consciousness also enters this conditioning as the witness. Sarva Bauddha Pratyaya Sakshitaya. One who is witnessing all Bauddha Pratyayas, all thoughts. Saha Sharaha Eva Swatmani Eva Arpitaha Akshare Brahmani. That arrow has to become one with the target, which is pure consciousness. So started with conditioned consciousness. End of the journey is pure consciousness. What was Arpita? What did we offer? Jivatva. Arrow offered Jivatva to become one with pure consciousness. So Arpita Akshare, in pure consciousness, dropping the conditioning. Brahmani ataha brahmatallaksham uchyate. Therefore it is said, Brahman is the target. Lakshah iva manah samadhitsubhi. Just like you have mumukshu, one who is desirous of moksha. Samadhitsu means one who is desirous of samadhi. Mana samadhitsubhi, one who is desirous of keeping the mind in the truth. By that person, Atma bhavena lakshamanatvat. It is pointed out as one's own self. By this person, the arrow should be sent to the target. That is the meaning here. Tatra evam. In that process of meditation, this being the case, apramattena. Pramada means inadvertence. Apramattena means without any inadvertence. What is inadvertence here? Bahya Vishaya Upalabdhi. Cognition of outside objects. Now, at least during meditation, one should be seated in a particular place. This is mainly talking about sitting in one place and meditating. But somebody might say, the moment I wake up, moment I get up, outside objects are available. At least cognition will take place. Therefore the next word is there, Trishna. Trishna means craving for those objects. See, objects will always be outside. Okay? What are we trying to do here? Take the mind within. And if my craving is for something outside, there is a dual pull. No matter which object it is, it will be somewhere outside consciousness. These are all figurative language. Don't take the literal meaning of it, inside and outside. The point is we are trying to understand what is pramada. Objects being outside, they are harmless. What connects me to that object is Trishna, desire. So apramattena means without having desires. So all previous journey has to be recollected. Karma yoga, bhakti yoga, everything has brought him here. Pratipaksha bhavana, shamadhi shat sampatti, all of that is packed in that one word, bahya vishaya trishna pramada varjitena. Means after gaining this knowledge, after sitting for meditation, if one thinks about several other things, he says that is the biggest inadvertence. Sarvataha viraktena, one who is virakta, mind not colored, dispassionate, detached. Jitendriyena, one who has control over sense organs. All this is elaboration of the word apramattena. So if sense organs are turbulent, that is pramada. And ekagra chittena. How did he get ekagra chitta? Ekagra chitta is blessing of upasana. Not even karma yoga. Because the moment karma comes, we have to be anekagra. We cannot practice ekagra chitta while doing karma. So the blessing of karma yoga will be removal of impurities. Ragadvesha, that will get removed through karma yoga. Ekagrata will come through upasana, thinking about Bhagwan single-pointedly. Vedhavyam Brahma Lakshyam. One has to pierce that target, which is Brahman. Tataha tad vedhanat urdhvam. After having pierced it, sharavat tanmayo bhavet. That arrow, after piercing, doesn't fall down immediately. It stays with the target. Like that, this mind has to be placed in the truth and it has to stay there. Put forth effort not to think about other things as long as possible. We talk about physical stamina. This is spiritual stamina. How long can we put our mind in the truth? And even if you build your physical stamina, let's say half an hour in the morning, somebody goes to a gym, that benefit he can accrue whole day. It is not that only when he is in the gym he is benefiting from his physical stamina. Similarly, whatever duration mind was in this state, that benefit is accrued for the remaining time. That is the beauty of this. Next sentence is very important. Both sentences are important. Yatha sharasya lakshya ekatmatvam phalam bhavati. Just like the main goal of that arrow is to become one with the target. Sharasya lakshya ekatmakatvam. The purpose of that arrow is to become one with the target. Similarly, dehadi atma pratyaya tiraskaranena. The main purpose of human birth, main purpose of having this body as the arrow, is to drop the identification with body. Dehadi atma pratyaya. Identification with body, mind, ego, everything. Having dropped that, tiraskaranena, akshara ekatmakatvam. Becoming one with akshara, phalam apadaya. One should attain this result. This is the meaning of both these mantras. See how beautifully Shankaracharya navigated us through this. First he explained the metaphor, symbolic meaning, and final one sentence summary of both these mantras. Okay. So more we can reflect, we will benefit in our meditation. Next mantra will continue in the next session. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.